Good evening. First of all, thanks very much for inviting us. That was great. Ramya and I are both engineers at the Visual Studio Code team. And in a way, it's a little bit awkward to speak to you because you know about Go much more than me. We're actually more Go hobbyists, so we take tools that the Go community actually produces and plug them into Visual Studio Code. So what is Visual Studio Code, first of all? So Visual Studio Code is actually a lightweight code editor. And what we try to do is not only take the editor experience, but actually enrich it with all of those things that you actually need for something that we call the inner loop, which is you edit your code, you debug your code, and in the end, you actually this whole cycle of ownership. Visual Studio Code actually runs on all different platforms, not just on Windows, it runs on Mac, on Linux. We were actually tweeted when we came here saying, oh, you guys really, you don't have Mac, so we do. So how do you think about that, this enrichment? So there's this whole spectrum, right? There are editors on the one side, and there are IDs on the other side. What you really like about editors, right? They're really fast. They come up just like that, right? There's no delay when you type all of these nice things. It talks about files and folders. Usually you get syntax highlighting for all of the different languages, but that's pretty much it. Right? And on the other side, you have IDEs that, in opposite to editors, are extremely opinionated about the workflows that you have. Right? You cannot just plug and play with all the different tools you have. You are hammered with wizards that actually give you all of those different kinds of things, tons of tools, integrations, and so on. But there are lots of good things there, right? Like intellisense or code rotation and so on. So we thought we should actually combine the best of both worlds. And so where we ended up is how did that? Scare myself. So we actually tried to combine both worlds and to try a good balance between them, right? And that actually means we ended up way closer to editors actually than to IDEs. But we're not just opening folders. We actually have some understanding of all of how those files actually relate to each other. We give them intelligence and all those kinds of things. And we all actually there. So we went 1.0 came out April 14th, 2016. Since then we actually had 3.5 million installs. We have right now more than 1 million monthly users. So we are actually definitely perceived very well by the community. So that was great. And best of all, that's all open source. So everything we do, you can actually follow along on GitHub. All of our plans are on there. You just sort that. Right? You get a lot of contributions actually from the community. GitHub actually came out with the Octoverse report. And so we actually have almost 6,000 active contributors. Most of them clearly are on the issue side, not so much on the pull request side, but still we have tons of pull requests that actually come through the community. Approximately 71% of all of the issues that we actually deal with are actually coming through this community. So we ship every month, and you follow along on Hacker News, so once a month we make it to the top with a new release, so that's great. People actually track very carefully what's coming out, what's new, how it compares to other tools and so on. So it's always great to see that. But you're not just shipping on a monthly basis, we actually ship every night. So we use Visual Studio Code for our own development, clearly. And so do 6,000 people approximately that use it every single day. So all of this kind of richness, support of the whole kind of languages, but also integration with other tools and so on, does not come out of the box. For that, we actually need to install extensions, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. And one of them is actually the Go extension. That's the one that is in here, and that's the one that people actually get. The Go extension itself, just like Visual Studio, is actually developed in the open. Tons of contributions from the outside. Again, it's actually shipping at least on a monthly rhythm, sometimes on a daily rhythm, depending on how much we actually have. So I'll demo what Visual Studio Code Go extension can do for you. We'll assume in the demo that you never touched it, but you actually set up as a Go developer. And then if you have it in the time, we'll show that we actually, the code that you just developed can containerize and actually push it up every time. And then after that, we'll talk a little more about some of the technical aspects, how we have done this and where we go with this. And I've just talked to Ramya second.
That's it. And there we go. All right, so why was this two of them? All right, so that was a simple instruction to install this, so I'll do that. Password, okay. 3, 2, 1. Code is installed. All I got to do from this point onwards is say code, and that opens up the administration. Because this is the first time you're installing VS Code, up comes the documentation website in case you want to spend the next 10-15 minutes reading it, but we'll see that now. So I don't want that, that. I don't need to terminal anymore. I'll enter this message. So for this tonight's demo, what we're going to work with is the sample example project that Golang has set up on Meetup, which most of us Go beginners have gone through. So I have a fork of my own. I've already cloned it, so that's what we're going to see. When you start with VS Code, this is where you start, left top. This is Explorer. It says I don't have any folders open, no problem, we'll open my project. So I go to my Go path, oh, it is not music, Go path. This is the structure, all of you know, and there I am, and that's my example project. Alright, so what do we start with? A simple hello program? That's not really. So what you see here is the Go extension is still not installed. This is just plain vanilla VS Code out of the box. What we already got here is syntax highlighting. You see all the colors. We have bracket matching. All this is coming out of the box because we have the grammar for code and we can get this to you without any instructors. But I see a pop-up now here that's telling me it is recommended in case you want. It is recommended to install the Go extension to get the full features of working with Visual Studio Go. It's telling me to install this extension. Alright, show me the recommendations. Saying, okay, install this one. Alright, installing, done. Every time you install an extension with code, it will ask you to reload. Which is okay because reload is pretty fast. And that fast. That is good. Okay, it's telling me something else again. Golang command is not available. So behind the scenes, almost all the features that we have in the Go extension is making use of the Go tools that the community has already written. It's almost like we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And in this case, whenever you open a Go file, automatically the linting starts, the building starts, in case you have any errors, that starts showing. So that is where that information is coming from saying that you don't have anything installed because it's a clean machine, right? So I say install all. And those are the 10 tools we are depending on. While that's installing, let's go and see more about the Go tool, the Go extension itself. If you see here, this is the README from the GitHub repo for VS Code extension. Blah, 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 these are the features. Maybe there's a demo there, that's nice. I like this autosave feature that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and enable it because that always helps make the demo. So autosave, where is that? Is it here? Oh, there it is. Autosave. But right there, what the author of this extension tells me is, not that, but format and save. So what typically happens is when you have format and save, you keep typing, autosave turns on, formatting keep changing your code. So that's kind of disturbing. So I'm going to set that off. How do I change settings? So that's pretty easy. You open up the command palette. Shortcut is Ctrl-Shift-P. This is one of the highly used shortcuts that we'll be using when we work with VS Code. This is where all the commands you can run. If you have key bindings, you can skip this. You can assign your key bindings and go ahead. But this is one of the more general purpose tools. I type settings because I don't remember what the actual command is. So, use the settings. What this opens up is, these are your default settings, what you have. You can scroll through them and see what happens. And right side is where you override these settings. The top one, most commonly used settings, tells you what generally people use. So we have our telemetry on and we know what are the top most used commands. So that's what we're going to see. So one thing is font size. Is that font size good for you guys? Or should I increase it? Increase it a little? So I have an edit button there. Okay. I'll copy the settings. And let's come here and maybe let's increase it to 18. Oh, that's better. One more. 18 is better. Let's stick to 18. Alright, so that's done. And look at that. Are we done with installing tools? Oh, it's high soon, right? What? I don't understand that. not familiar with any of these tools already, I thought we still have a couple of minutes left.
Let's go outline.
Go outline. Go outline is a tool which just gives you back the AST but in a different structure. So it internally it's a very small program. So we have a feature called as file outline. So just like I open the command palette, I can say file outline, and it will list all the methods, the variables as in the same order that it comes from the file. You can scroll through them and it navigates into a particular section of the file. So for that feature, we use the Go outline, which in my code print will also go through this section. That's nice. Let's open up for Q&A by the time the network catches up. If anybody has some questions until now. Or anything. Yes. No questions.
It looks like you're on Debugging, and it looks like you're on Microsoft.
It's product information shared or licensed by Microsoft.
I thought I watched the desktop.
Yes. I'm still waiting for the question.
Oh, that's the question.
Yes, that's exactly what you saw.
This is also something so you can solve that.
So at the moment we have a command to update all the tools. So that just my neighbors looks at all the dependencies just like this and updates it. Just with the that sheet.
So it'll go through and do the transfer so that
It just does a simple go get dash u and that takes care of all the dependencies for us. We don't do anything else. It's just that. Yes. Yes.
Please repeat the question.
Which question?
Please repeat them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes.
I want to know if I can double that.
The question is, you have two time settings. Can you assign both mapping and rotate mapping so that we can go back and forth?
There are some shortcuts. There are some that
Okay, so turns out that all tools are successfully installed. You're ready to go. That, by the way, was a cheap message incited by one of my community members. I just had it. All right, so we have all the dependencies set up. We have the extension installed. What do we start to have? This is a simple file. I just want to know more about it. Looks like it's trying to reverse a string, but is it so? What can it tell me? I hover over the reverse function here, and I get the signature for the function. I get any comments, the author would have written next to it. So this is a very handy feature if you just have to glance over things. A typical feature in IDEs, you've got it in the place for it. This works for functions, variables, structs, types, sorts of stuff. If I want to know more about this, but I don't want to go to the actual file, I just want to know how this is implemented. Right here, without context switching, I can do a peak definition that brings up this nice little view. This is a bad resolution. Let's actually view in fact. Let's just see if I can change the theme to make it better. Let's try that. So let me file. Tell me which is the ratios. Let's go right. Is that better? Okay. Better. But it's still not showing you a contrast. There's a contrast between this color and that, but this is as you can see. Alright, what did we just do? We just did a brief definition. What it gives me is the definition. It opens up the file where this function is actually defined in a small peak definition. I can scroll. If that was a big file, that would be nice. I can see what else is there. This is a little small file, so not much use. I can double click in here and actually go to the file as well. So let's close that. What else? Over peak definition. What if I want to know where exactly is this function? Is it a binary function? How many people have dependencies on it? At least in my workspace, right? So a simple way to do it is because that's the underscore file we used. Second is the place where it's defined. You can click on it and the left side view changes to give you a peek. And look at that, we have tests. This is some well-written code. And like the other three, you can double click on the center and we go to the file. Alright. And if you're looking at somebody else's code, can I run this? So typically as a Go programmer, you would go to the terminal and say, go run the blah. But here you don't have to switch context at all. Inside VS Code, we have an integrated terminal for you, which you can use. And the way you can bring it on is go back to your command palette, start typing integrated terminal. I don't know how to spell. Okay. So that's my integrated terminal. I hit enter. And right below in the pane, that's where the terminal comes up. By default, it opens up to the same place as the workspace that you opened. So that's good. No longer open terminal and type C. Alright, I'm in the example folder. I need to run this. Go run. There was a hello folder. And go example. It's literally really robust, the string. So that's good. So what you need to know here is the terminal knows all of your environment variables that from where you shell down VS Code. So it knows where Go is because it was in the path. It knows the Go path, and that's why it was able to find the right dependencies and so on. That's good. Terminal Go. Now, enough of seeing somebody else's code, let's write some more, right? So this is, I'll go back to that file, the reverse file, and write some more code. For file navigation, one neat little trick is Control V. This is our file navigation control. It already lists these recently opened files, so you can just go through this, or you can just start typing and it will search the workspace. So, for example, I know that there is some main.go in this workspace, so I start that. It tells me all the main.go in this project. So let's do what we need to do, go to reverse, and I start typing. What do I call it? Unintended type? Okay, somebody did ask me that 8 years ago in an interview. Alright. Function. What is that? Is that autocomplete or more? So whenever you have suggestions coming down, based on what the icon is, it has different functionality. Maybe it's just textual completion. Maybe it's a function completion. This, my friends, is a snippet completion. We have, from the Go extension, we have a snippet for each right function. Let's see what that does. Looks simple. It's just a function skeleton over there. But what's neat is the way it lets me update the placeholders. Right now the cursor is in the place where you would have the name of the function, right? I'll type the name of the function. I hit tab, and now I'm inside the parameter section. That's good. This should take a string. Tab again, I'm in the output type. This should give me a before. And tab again, I'm in the body. You keep tabbing, you can keep circling through this if you want to change it. So that's fine. Need to write some code. So I'm kind of lazy. I like copy pasting stuff. So I will copy some of the logic that we have just done, okay? Just copy the whole frame. How is the thing is the same? Change it to your own, loop around and do things. So now I
closer to mine, please.
Like this. Thank you. I was about to copy it. It's almost like you didn't want me to copy it. It's not my conscience thing, right? Alright. I selected some code. I have some neat little tricks here. I copied it. Now I just want to move it to its rightful place inside my comment function. So these are just little tricks, tips and tricks that you can use with VS Code. There's a whole lot more. You can look that up in documentation, but this is one of the key points that I want to show. Alright, what are the red and the green squiggly lines here? Isn't my code perfect? It's not. Like I said, auto-save triggers save. And on save, we do build and linting. And those are the results of building and linting. The red ones are the build errors. I cannot use string when you actually want to have to return build. Okay. Exported functions needs to have comments. Assume you have a really big file with lots of errors and linting errors. You cannot go around and scroll or hover on each one of them, right? So we do have a problems view for you. Very aptly named problems. Because You need to fix that. So here you get a full view of in your current file as well as in your package, because linting runs on the whole package. So if you had some linting errors in another file that belonging to the same package, you will see that here. Nice thing is, it's clickable. You click on it, it goes to the place where the problem is. Let's fix that. This is one default case, I return true, enter our comments. File and room, you see that is the textual suggestions that come up based on what words are there in the file. File and room, insert awesome. Okay. So we have some code, no more building errors, no more linting errors, so yay for that. Let's try to run this and use this, shall we? So I'm back here in my hello code. I start typing. I need to learn how to type. It's string util, that's my utility, the package. And look at that, it already knows pattern from the part of it. That is blah 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 with a pattern from. Looks like formatting is running behind the scenes. It's doing my code. I think we already said that. Oh, sorry. Let's check that real quick. Look at that. I took you to settings to turn off format and then I totally forgot to do that. But you see the problem, right? You start typing and it starts like speaking over me or something. Let's do that. Go dot. You have intellisense here, so don't think you're lost when you come to settings. You start typing and VS Code will help you. Format, unsave, default is true, I set it to false. Now I can code in place. Back here, println, and new lines. Okay. Else. Okay? Sounds reasonable. I want to run this, and I run this just like I ran it in the terminal. But this time I'll use my shortcut. So Control-Shift backtick, and the terminal opens up. Do the same thing, we'll go to run. Well, must be out of my mind. We should fix that. We can't have that. Closing the terminal again. I need to debug my program. I can't afford to do mistakes when I'm trying to get lost here. So I put a breakpoint here, and from the IDE world, what do you press to do debugging? F5? Thank you. I hit F5. It asks me what environment I need to use. By default, Node and extension development debugging is shipped out of VS Code, so if you don't have any other extensions, that's your options. But we have the Go extension, and we have the Go option. I choose that. Since it's the first ever time I'm doing debugging in this environment, a launch configuration file is created for me. It has some inputs in it, but it's asking me, please look at it and make sure it's what you need. Name, mode, things look good, but the program. As Go programmers, you know that when you run things, you need to run the package, right? And we open the parent folder, so that's what workspace root comes to. So I will just add hello, because that was the package folder. I should be good with this. So now, did I put a breakpoint? You guys remember? Okay. People are paying attention. I hit F5 again, and the breakpoint set. This is the debug console. Over here, another panel that opens up. We use Delve behind the scenes for implementing most of our debugging features, and all the output of Delve you can see here. So if you're used to working with Delve, most of these messages should make sense to you. So, okay, string reverse. I don't want to look at that. So this bar here, debug bar, if you're not a shortcut person, you can go around clicking them. For now, I'll click them so that you can see when I'm doing it. So I'll step over because I don't want to know what reverse is doing. I want to know what palindrome is doing. I step in. There you are, palindrome. Okay, I converted to rules. I have to follow. Oh, look at that. I didn't make my check. It's returning true all the time. Let's correct that. Not equals? Okay. then return false. Should be good now. I'll restart my debug process. Hit the breakpoint again. This time I'm confident that will work. I'm not going to step in. I'm just going to continue. Yay! All is well, and now I don't know. One last thing I wanted to show you in this area of debugging is what you can do in the debug console. Let's F5 again. And say let's go into reverse. Okay? We're in reverse. So you have the variables here. You can overrun it, see its values. In debug console, what you can do is evaluate some expressions. So you can S, that is the input, you can do common operations, like length of this, other things that you want to clear out at that point. Okay. Yes?
Is there knowledge of slices and some other basic data types?
You've got to try it. So here's the thing, right? We don't do Go programming in a day-to-day, the real-day job. Most of the time, we are dependent on the community to tell us this is not working. We need this feature. This is partially implemented, and we go in and dig in and get it out of code. So that's how it's going to work. It's going to be happy. Open source.
I'll do prioritize which features to work on.
Okay, the question was, now I remember. Sorry. He asked, how do you prioritize what features to work on? Is that it? So the community creates issues. There's talk in that issue. There's people coming in, uploading, downloading, adding their comments. And I sit and look at those comments. So ideally it is about how much power or how many people are behind a particular feature request. If something is burning, of course if there's a big bug and the whole thing is down, I'll get down to it right away and I'll help for that. But other than that, backlog management is mostly about what the community wants the most. For example, you saw the hover feature, right? By default, we used to use GoDef and GoDoc to get that feature. We had a lot of feedback from the community saying GoDef is not doing that good of a job in certain cases. And then we had somebody suggested, why don't you try GoGetDoc? And then with the help of 2 other community members, we now have implementation to use GoGetDoc for your hover features, for your go-to definition, for signature help. So it's all organic and, like I said, what the community wants, the uploads, and I'm going to stay my hand. Yes?
Have you looked at any of the Guru tooling for doing find references?
You mean the Guru tool, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So he's asking if we use the Guru tool. The answer is yes. Currently we use it only in one place for the find-out references that I showed you. So that does use Guru. There is an work item to implement the callies, the implements, and the other features of Guru. As and when you guys go there and upload and get it rolling, we'll look into it and we can implement that with the community stuff. Is an answer? Back. Where were we? We looked at somebody else's code, we wrote some of our own, we debugged it, probably should write some tests, right? Alright, so where was that function? Recently, another example of prioritizing features that you asked. One of the community members implemented a feature to generate test code using GoTest, not GoTest. It's a tool that generates unit test skeletons for you based on table-driven testing. So we have that now, thanks to our community. So I can show you that. So I open up the command palette again, and I hit generate. So these are the 3 options you have right now. So you can generate unit tests for current file, for where your cursor is, for the whole package. Right now I just want for where my cursor is. Yes?
So you know, I'll let you show what it looks like, but
Okay.
in the loop, it's like a big variable. And I'm not sure, should that be a ticket with the Go test package, or should it be interactive with you guys?
Test. So we are literally wrappers around the amazing tools that has already been built. So sometimes it's us. We can, if you log the issue with us, we can test it and direct it to the right place, like you have guessed. All right. Test for current function, people. There you go. Generated test file and drawn. Thank you. And the test file is automatically opened up for you to look at the tests that just got written. We need to add test cases. That's the only thing that you need to do, right? So So let's see. Test one. Let's do the happy parts first. Anybody wants to tell me palindrome? Really? Oh yeah. There we go. I'm going to remember that. Okay. That is supposed to return true. Let's have another test case.
Might as well start at the very beginning.
Oh, that's me. But I'm going to go with that. I'm sorry.
Restart.
Sorry, what?
Restart to 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Okay. All good? No build errors? How many test cases? How do I run that? Do I go to the terminal again? Or do I use some commands that's another community language of ours implemented? We tell you the commands. So when you do your tests, these are all the test-related features that we have. For now, we would do the go test at cursor. What this does is it looks at the function where your cursor is, runs that particular test. Output pane has the results. Similarly, you can run test for the whole file, test for the whole package. Let's do test for the whole package because I'm paranoid like that. Maybe I change something into this. I didn't mess up for this, so that's a pass as well. So we've written code, debug, build stuff, fix stuff, written test. Probably we should come in and then go home, right? But this, yes. Sorry, Lynn?
It's a single letter vowel.
Yes, according to that.
Well, I know that.
Now that means a philosophical discussion for which we need to go to another meetup. Okay, where was I? Commit and go home. So we have a lightweight Git integration. So what you see here, the third icon here, this is related to our Git integration. There's a number 5. Can you see it? It says 5. Just trust me. What that means is there are 5 files in your current workspace which has changes but it has not been committed. Okay? I click at that and I go to that particular Git page. So it lists the files. I should probably commit them. But I shouldn't commit the wrong JSON because that's just personal, right? That's just for the source circuit. I can selectively stage it plus, and then I can commit this. So let's say, I don't know, that's what I did, right? There you go. I have a change. So what this little button here says is how many changes. Can you see it? Like down there next to master. If you can't, then look at the recording. So there is a small button there which tells you that how different is your current branch relative to the remote branch. Maybe somebody pushed something to the remote, you don't have it. That's going to tell you how different are you. So you can click on that to push your changes, but I just got reminded that I needed to show this one more thing. Which was, this is a pretty simple print something to the console, right? Have another time? Okay. What I wanted to show you was converting this to a web server, which all you guys know already. Extremely handled function and all that. So I'll just show you what the critical thing I'm going to show. I don't remember what that package name was. I know it is extremely